What it is, my boy? Welcome to the Aim High, Push Hard podcast, where we aim high, then persist until something happens. For heroes are really driven. Aim high, push hard, divine ingenuity. On today's podcast, we'll be discussing a post by Safari, Nicki Minaj's ex-lover, who stated, social media got 22-year-olds wanting to off themselves because they don't make six figures and drive a 7 Series. Shit is terrible. Got women thinking if you can't afford a Chanel bag, you doing bad in life and offer them nothing. Got dudes thinking a good 9 to 5 is slavery. Nobody likes their body. Nobody likes their home. Just a mass group of people wanting what others have or pretend to have. Let's jump right into it here, fellas. Albert Einstein once stated, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch and do nothing. I say there's weather changers and weather reporters. I come to change the forecast. Now, I feel a tremendous amount of remorse and guilt for Generation Z feeling this way. Because I came right before them. As I said, I grew up in the 90s. So the generation today that's growing up are offsprings of my DNA. Yes, I know I don't have any children, but these guys watched me do my thing on a day-to-day. I consider myself a luminary. As a luminary, my purpose here in life is to practice more than medicine. It's to practice just that, life. I believe that my personal truths, which is fact to me, has been lived, has been practiced, has been endured, and has been won and is still living. You have to do a lot to be able to speak on a lot. You have to have beat the streets to be able to speak on the streets. You had to have been in the streets to be able to talk about the streets. You had to have had A's and B's in school to be able to graduate at the top 1% of your class so that you can have the knowledge and wherewithal to speak about school on a collegiate level. Let me say how I feel it. I feel how I say it. I said how I feel it. Hey, I feel it. I said, ooh. Come on now. So the fact that when I was a child, guys, we weren't worried about the 7 Series BMW. Yes, I had a 1983 Chevrolet Jimmy. That was my favorite car. I bought it a little less than $1,500. I was age 15. Wasn't quite old enough to drive. Well, I wasn't quite old enough to get my driver's license, but I was old enough to drive. I'm sorry, guys. That was a slip up. I used to park it right next to the teacher. And, I had Tasmanian Devil car seats, Tasmanian Devil steering wheel cover, and it was a 1983 Jimmy. The year was 1995. I mean, yeah, was it old? Yeah. Did I care? No. So, like I said, it cost me what I could afford. And it wasn't even a car that made me feel good. It was the black Nike socks that I bought for $25 at Sports Zone. It was the Air Max 95s that I had on my feet, the basketball that I had in my hand, and the tank top that I had over my boyish physique chest, flexing my muscles so the girls could see. I never wanted to off myself because of what I didn't have. I understood at the time that everybody wanted to be a D-boy. I looked up to the hustlers. Those were who were making all the money. I didn't look up to the musicians because if you were spending all day inside the studio rapping, you had no time to be on the corner with me because I was really on the corner putting in the work. I was really on the corner making the sales. I would go to school, go home, cut it up, bag it up, take it outside and push my rocks. That was my my 5 to 10 after school. My 7 to 4 was in school, focused, concentrating. You know, I had to ward off the ADHD. I didn't have the time to be unable to engage in subjects that were not of my peripheral interest. If I didn't like the subject, I still had to engage and had to focus in. That's just what school is. You're going to have subjects that you don't like. You can't use ADHD and I can't concentrate as an excuse. We all know what it is. Come on, you got to go through school, guys. You got to go through phases. There's levels to life, right? So when I would see those guys rapping, the hippity hip hop ass people, I would just laugh at them because I would say, wow, dude, you're just wasting your time in a studio. You're wasting all your time rapping. You're never going to go anywhere with that. Like, who wants to be like Biggie Smalls? You know, Tupac was the famous rapper on the radio at the time. I was like, what, you want to grow up and be Tupac? Or you want to grow up and be a thespian? Because, you know, he was acting and rapping. And it was, to us, it was goofy at the time. Because it's like, man, them dudes don't make any money. Like, it's just a craft. It's a hobby. But the guys we looked up to were the hustlers or the guys who had a job. You remember the guys who used to work for AT&T? You know, they would go to work after school and you say, wow, you got a job. They had on a shirt, a collar shirt, button down with a tie and slacks. And every Friday, they'll go to the liquor store, get a bottle of liquor, somehow get someone to buy it for them because we was all underage. They'll bring it on a block and they'll tell you, hey, go get your cup. Go get your cup. I'm about to pour you up. As soon as they get paid, you knew it. And as soon as they got fired, you knew it as well. Because there were no more bottle of liquors. There were no more bags. There were no more smiles. Everything just ceased to exist and digressed. But this is how it was growing up. You know, all you wanted was a girl to spend your time with when you weren't around your homeboys. And you weren't going around the street calling her a hoe and calling her out of her name and beating on her, nothing like that. You just wanted to get your thing off. You know, you was a little young hot boy. You know? And the women, she didn't want a Chanel bag. Like, dude, she was cool with just walking to the corner store with you and you buying her a bag of 50-cent Doritos potato chips or 30-cent Huggy Juice and a 10-cent peanut chew. If you can get her some Skittles, that was nice too. But a Chanel bag, girl, bye. Like, we wasn't doing that because, like, come on, like everyone was on the same level. We're all living in poverty. We're all living in the ghetto. Like, we don't even know who Chanel is. Is that a person or an entity? We weren't aware of that. There were no trendsetters, fashion trends. Like, there was no living beyond your means. There was no flexing. I mean, yeah, we joned and we played the dozens and joned on each other and talked about each other in derogatory ways. But it was all to get a laugh. You know, and if you made somebody feel really played, then you go on that basketball court and you show them how you slay. You know, you drop them buckets on them. Once you play on one and the person loses, you say, Watch that mouth. Keep that mouth shut. Hush. And as far as not liking your body, we came in all different shapes and sizes. I like the girl that looked like the Eminem twins. I also like the girl that looked like Tia and Tamara Mowry. I mean, it was what you liked. Beauty was in the eyes of the beholder. It wasn't about dating a girl that snatched. We didn't want snatched. I want to see ribs. I want to see rolls. I want to see adipose tissue. I want to see a little cellulite on that ass. I mean, come on, guys. It wasn't all about being snatched up. You know, no one, you didn't want what others had because, like I said before, when we laughed at the musicians, I got a chance to live a life where I saw the musicians get rich when I got older. I was like, wow, those guys that I used to clown for not being on the block with me really made something out of themselves. That's awesome. Then I got to see those same guys start shooting and killing each other and start doing so much drugs that it drove them insane. And then I said, wow, you got all that money and all you rap about is pain? Dang, I thought you did that so you can get away from the game. So it saddened me when I see our offspring chasing music. Like, music is something you do from the soul. It's supposed to inspire. It's supposed to evoke a feeling. And that feeling becomes a slavery to your physiology. You're not laughing because you're happy. You're happy because you're laughing. You're not sad because you're crying. You're crying because you're sad. You're not trembling because you're afraid. You're afraid because you're trembling. Come on now, let's talk. Your feeling is a slave to the physiology. So the fact that I see these youngsters running into a fire that has money falling out of the sky into this fire, and you see a fire, but you look up towards the flames going into the sky, and you see money falling out the sky into this fire, yet you run as fast as you can to the fire because you want to grab the money. Now, how desperate and dire is your situation that you're willing to lose your life, lose your soul, lose your dignity and everything you have for $1, that you're running into that fire as fast as Tom Joyner, Jackie Joyner Kersey, to jump into this fire so that you can gain some monetary assets. I mean, youngsters, when I listen to your music, I'm sorry to say this, but I have to take a spiritual cleanse. I have to baptize myself in the blood of Jesus Christ. I have to wash my brain with Downy dish detergent. I have to remove the toxic chemicals from my body, because that music, the way you guys rap about God, come take these pills from me. God, get me off this dope. God, get me off this cocaine. I snorted 7 lines today. My body is out of fluids. My kidneys are filled up with promethazine and codeine. Good God almighty. Thank you. You guys are drug abusers, guys. Like, what are you doing? The drugs you take to inspire you to do that music ruins your peace of mind. The adulation that you receive from your peers, guys, to make that type of music ruins your peace of mind. It's not worth the money. It's really not. No one has a better life than anyone else. Everyone is just living their own spiritual journey the way that it's supposed to be unfolding. And most people, guys, are pretending to have what they have. Once you touch money, the money you touch is fleeting. It's no longer physical. It's no longer yours. It's already been taxed. It's already been spent. A dollar earned is a dollar spent. I mean, come on, guys. Make time for your family. Make time for yourself. Make time for your loved ones. Remember, there comes a day where that day will be your last day on earth. You don't want to turn around and say, really, this is my last day, God? Really? Like, there's so many things that I wanted to do, and this is my last day. And you spent your entire life talking about what you didn't have. You spent your entire life wanting to shoot yourself because of a materialistic possession that you didn't acquire. And let me tell you something, guys. I was blessed to follow my dreams to become a medical practitioner. And I was able to amass a good fortune coming straight out of school, 26 years old. 2 degrees in. Bought a nice Audi A8. I felt like I was on top of the world leaving the dealership. Once I got home, I felt nothing at all. Like, it was just a headache of a car to maintain and insurance, and it was just a regular steel vehicle on wheels. It wasn't anything luxurious. It didn't make me feel any better. I went out and I bought all the Louis Vuitton I could buy, all the Gucci I could buy, all the Prada I could buy. I mean, yes, I had girls, but I always, had girls coming around because the girls like me for me, not my car. They like me because of my mouthpiece. They like me because I made them laugh. I was funny. I said things up from the heart. I spoke from sincerity. Even the fact that I had money and girls and a car and a great condo in Buckhead, Atlanta. Guess what, guys? I had a void. I had a void in my heart because the happiness that I thought would come from materialistic possessions did not fill my heart. It was still an empty space. Empty space, guys. You know where my happiness comes from? Being one in nature. I know that sounds corny, but being one in the trail, in a nature trail, and turning everything off and just looking around at the trees and just seeing growth, watching photosynthesis occur, and watching the leaves turn green with chlorophyll, like just smelling the redwood trees and the pine trees, like it's something illuminating about that for me. It's something mystical about that. Something magical. It puts me on a higher frequency where I'm vibrating on a different level. Exercise and good sweat, permeating good sweat from my skin. Perspiration, it helps to relieve toxins. Eating positively electric charged foods, drinking alkaline water, it really makes me feel better mentally. A sound 8 hours of sleep, which I don't get a night. I wish I could, but on the nights where I can get 8 hours sleep, oh my God, I wake up feeling magical. Not overthinking things, just letting life play out the way it's supposed to be. That's what makes you feel good, guys. Trust me. Trying to live someone else's life, it's horrible. William James once said, The greatest force against stress is the ability to choose one thought over another. Human beings are the only mammals that are able to think conceptually. You know, a lion can't say to himself, wow, I'm not as fast as that lion. Or a fish can't think to himself, why aren't my fins as long as that other fish's fins? Or a cat can't say to another cat, how come I don't have 9 lives? A dog can't say to another dog, how come my bark isn't that loud? You know, it's only human beings that we compare ourselves to other people. And as long as you do that, you're constantly going to want what others have. Have you ever heard of a saying called comparisons is the thief of joy? Like when you compare yourself to others, you steal yourself, you rid yourself of your own self-happiness. We need to learn to spend our time with ourselves, get to know ourselves truthfully and honestly. Know what we like, what we don't like, and just be in tune with who we are. You know, and sometimes that you have to disengage with other people. It's hard, trust me. It's hard disengaging. You have to disengage with social media. You have to disengage with other people. You have to even disengage with your own family, guys. I know it's hard because you're supposed to spend all this time, but you need time out for yourself, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or a year. You just need to just spend time alone, you know, and just no drugs, no alcohol, no toxins. I'm not trying to speak from a spiritual chakra level, Buddhism or anything like that. I'm just saying, just take some time out to yourself. You know, like you always seen why, like, and I'm not saying go to prison, guys, don't do that. But have you always noticed that when people go to prison, it's like they come out, sometimes some people that use the time wisely and don't let the time use them, they come out a different person than they were when they went in. Because they had time to sit in that cell by themselves and really focus on who they are as a human being, a spiritual entity. They had time to really tap in to who they wanted to be when they left this place. Because this place to them is the closest to hell that you will ever get. And they never want to come back to this place. I don't care what I have to do, but I'm going to start taking my life more seriously. I'm going to make each day count, because each day in here is a day that I feel like I'm underground, buried alive under the earth. You understand? And some people have to go through a catastrophic event or a deep traumatic experience for them to realize how precious their time here on earth really is. But when you make a permanent decision for a temporary situation, there's no coming back from that. So when you kill yourself at 22, at 16, at 15, at 14, you never even gave yourself a chance to even live life. I mean, life changes, guys. Nothing lasts forever. Your downs become your ups. Your ups become your downs. One day you wake up, you're angry, you're sad, you're living in the projects, rats and roaches are all around. The next day you're in the mansion with butlers and maids and chauffeur driver outside and Uber Eats coming to deliver food to your front door. I mean, give yourself a chance, guys. Generation Z, give yourself a chance, please. Don't blow it before you start it. Thank you for listening. Wear your mask. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye.